Do you know that you do not need to spend hours writing emails, Instagram captions, and wholesale promos every month? You can actually batch all of your marketing content in under an hour. No more blank docs, no more I'll just post later. Just swipe, tweak, and go. The Product Marketing Bank is your marketing shortcut. A done for you vault of high converting email copy, promo templates, sales strategies, and social media hooks. Custom built for wholesale brands. And yes, you'll even be shown exactly how to repurpose everything for your direct to consumer audience, saving you hours of time and energy. The Marketing Bank helps you show up with strategic, seasonal content exactly when your retailers are planning their buys. If you're tired of Googling, what do I even say in this email? It's time to let the Product Marketing Bank do the heavy lifting for you. Join now at productmarketingbank.com. Because here's the reality. When you chase every buyer, it leads to misaligned customers. It leads to burnout and second guessing your offer. And it also leads to over customizing your product or your offer and over discounting. And that leads to a never ending cycle of more work for you that looks like more product creation, more work on the back end because your customers are not happy and do not have a great experience in working with you. And when you accept the fact that you are not the right fit for everyone, and that is a good thing, then the right customers will start saying yes. Because if you're for everyone, then you're for no one. Hi, friends. Welcome to She Sells Differently, the show for aspiring women entrepreneurs looking to overcome the fear of selling and grow thriving businesses from a place of authenticity and confidence. I'm Andee Hart, and it wasn't all that long ago that I was a sales executive for a Fortune 500 company. But I knew in my heart that I was called to use my gifts for something more, something different. That's exactly why I created the She Sells Differently podcast. Each episode is going to deliver you business strategies, tools, and mindset shifts to help set you and your brand apart from our culture's expectations. It's time to elevate your sales and build a profitable, sustainable business you're proud of, one built on integrity, grace, and humility. It's time to learn how to sell differently. Welcome to the She Sells Differently podcast. My name is Andee Hart, and I am on a mission to help you overcome your fear of selling, because selling is the lifeblood of your business and your work is worth sharing, my friend. When you learn to sell with confidence and integrity, you stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. This is the final episode in my mini series, my burn book of bad sales advice. This is the unapologetic podcast series where we call out the outdated, cringeworthy, and flat out false sales advice that is holding you back. In the first episode of this series, we talked about why slashing your prices is not a sales strategy and why you should not be using discounts to fix what strategy should be solving. In the second episode, we discussed how following up is not actually annoying unless you make it. Following up serves your customers. And then last week we discussed that more content does not equal more sales. It just means more busy work if you're not being strategic. And I gave you 4 types of high converting content that will help produce sales instead of just busy work. So if you have not checked out those first 3 episodes in this mini series, I challenge you to go tune in and then come back and check out this episode because we are going to be talking about why the best salespeople know how to let a customer go. Now, if you have been in any of the modern sales trainings out there, you know there is a sales myth that I am going to talk about today, and it is overcome every objection, always be closing. But I am here to tell you, confident saleswomen know when to walk away. And if your offer is not aligned to your customer, or if your customer isn't ready, you don't have to force it. That is not failure. That is leadership. Here is my burn book hot take. It is okay to walk away from a sale. It is okay to turn away a customer. And accepting no can actually make you a stronger seller. And that is what we are going to discuss today. Because here's the reality. When you chase every buyer, it leads to misaligned customers. It leads to burnout and second guessing your offer. And it also leads to over customizing your product or your offer and over discounting. And that leads to a never ending cycle of more work for you that looks like more product creation, more work on the back end because your customers are not happy and do not have a great experience in working with you. And when you accept the fact that you are not the right fit for everyone, and that is a good thing, then the right customers will start saying yes. Because if you're for everyone, then you're for no one. And I want you to stick around to the end of this episode because I'm going to be sharing the 3 questions that I always ask when I walk away from a sale and how they help me close more aligned sales later. Because here's the reality. When you chase every buyer, it leads to misaligned customers. It leads to burnout and second guessing your offer. And it also leads to over customizing your product or your offer and over discounting. And that leads to a never ending cycle of more work for you that looks like more product creation, more work on the back end because your customers are not happy and do not have a great experience in working with you. And when you accept the fact that you are not the right fit for everyone, and that is a good thing, then the right customers will start saying yes. Because if you're for everyone, then you're for no one. So I'm going to give you a specific example of how this manifested itself in my own business. Most of you know that my signature course is a wholesale course that teaches product makers how to land their products on the shelves of boutiques everywhere. It's called She Sells Wholesale. Early on, when I was launching my course, I had a customer that was ready to sign up and purchase my course when the doors were first opened. But here's the deal. When I was talking to her and she was ready to sign up, and I was asking the right questions, and I said to her, "What is your end goal for your business?" And she said, "I want to have a subscription box company. And by the end of this year, I want to have my subscription box in the hands of several hundred consumers all over the country." What I knew about that is that my course did not teach that, nor did I have experience with how to educate her and provide value there. Now, can I teach her in how to grow a profitable business? Absolutely. But am I the best person to teach her how to grow a subscription box business? No. And so instead of encouraging her to go ahead and sign up for my course, I actually pointed her in the direction of someone who specialized in teaching product-based businesses how to grow a subscription business. That can be hard to turn people down and to walk away from a sale, to walk away from a higher ticket sale. But at the end of the day, when you know that it's not a right fit, you never want to pressure someone and to be misaligned with your customer's goals. Here's what saying no actually says about you as a seller. It says that you know the transformation that you offer. You know who your offer is for and who it's not for. And you're not shaken when someone says no. And you can lovingly say, this might not be a fit. And that is okay. You are confident in the value and the transformation that you provide. And here's what makes that special. When you say no to the wrong person, you actually create space for the right clients. I found this stat from Zendesk in 2024. Very interesting. 81% of consumers said they were more likely to trust a brand that didn't push a sale when the product wasn't a right fit. Now, I gave an example from a course that I sell, but this could be the same if you are selling a product, candles or jewelry or skincare, whatever it is that you're selling. If you sell jewelry and you have a customer that's looking for 14 karat gold or jewelry that is made for sensitive skin, and your jewelry does not align with the needs of that customer, it is okay to tell them no. Because you know that if they purchase your product, they're going to have a bad experience. And at the end of the day, that is what is going to make your product and your brand stand out among the market. Because you sell with integrity. You sell and stand by your values. And on the flip side, sellers that are just pushing to make a sale, and they push their product or their offer, regardless of whether it's a right fit or not, that is what gives sales a bad reputation and why so often we struggle with the fear of sales, because we have had that experience in the past. But when you can practice discernment-driven selling and learn that no is not a bad word to hear in sales, you will learn to be a much stronger and confident salesperson. Let me show you how to implement this into your business. First, I want you to know your non-negotiables. And it is very helpful for you to write this down. Write down who your product or your offer is not for. When you're very clear on who your offer or your product is not for, then guess what? You can be laser focused on who your product is for. And you can start to get very clear on how you market your product offerings. The second way to practice discernment-driven selling is to ask qualifying questions early. Now, obviously, if you're selling in person, you can actually ask these questions. If you're selling online, you can ask these questions through your sales copy. But asking qualifying questions early helps weed out the people that are not the right buyers for your product, or they're not the right buyers right now. It's important to remember the difference. Just because they're not the right buyers doesn't mean they're not the right buyers right now. So first, know your non-negotiables, who your offer is not for. Second, ask qualifying questions. Third, normalize hearing the word no. So often we hear the word no and we take it as a personal attack, especially if we are product makers, because we created our products ourselves and we take it very personal when we hear the word no. What no actually is it's data for us. It's data to be able to take that information and learn how we can either improve our product or we know more about who our product is for and who it's not for. So start normalizing that the word no is actually just data and it's not personal. And then fourth, follow up with empathy, not pressure. I had a client that was ready to purchase my course, but I knew that it was not a right fit for them. Instead of applying pressure to them to purchase my course, what I did is I referred them to someone that could better serve them. Not only is that following up with empathy, but it's truly serving them and actually championing another entrepreneur. Here's the thing that I have found about discernment-driven selling. When you follow these 4 principles, when you know your non-negotiables, when you ask those qualifying questions, when you normalize hearing the word no and you don't take personal offense to that, and then you follow up with empathy, every time I have followed this framework with these 4 principles, one of 2 things has happened. Every single time. I have had that potential customer refer someone else to my business, or they have ended up coming back at a later date and making a purchase from me. So when my customer wanted to purchase my course and I referred her to someone else that could help her with her goal of creating a subscription box company, she went and worked with that other entrepreneur for a year. But guess what? She ended up a year later coming back because she realized that she actually wanted to wholesale her products. And she invested in my course when it was the right time for her. And she ended up having a wonderful experience. Saying no in sales is like pruning. It may feel like a loss in the moment, but it actually creates space for healthy growth, for the right customers to come into your sphere of influence. So I want you to think about the last 5 conversations you had with a potential customer. Did you try to make it work when it actually wasn't the right fit? How could practicing this 4-step framework of discernment-driven selling actually provided the clarity and maybe even saved you time and headache from accepting the wrong customer for your product or your offer? Here are the 3 questions that I always ask myself when I walk away from a sale. Number 1, was I clear in what I offer? 2, did I listen well to what they truly needed? And number 3, would I want to serve this person long term? And often number 3, the answer might be yes, but it might be not yet. But if the answer is no to any of those, then I trust and move on. And that is not a lost sale. That is a wise one. Here's the thing, friend. I can assure you when you start practicing this discernment-driven selling, which is absolutely selling very differently than what modern sales training teaches, you will be a more confident seller because you will sell in a way that aligns with your values. Learning how to practice discernment-driven selling is one of the hardest lessons in sales, but it is truly one of the wisest and best skills I have learned in my sales career. This is not a skill that you can just build overnight. It takes practice. It takes building that muscle, and it takes repetition to learn it. And it is something that I am continually learning even to this day. So if you are someone that is ready to build this muscle and ready to dive deeper in your sales skills and truly build a sustainable business, I am opening up my first ever mastermind that is going to build upon this skill and more. So I am going to post the application in the show notes, and you can apply for my first ever She Sells Differently Mastermind. We are kicking off in a few short months, and I have limited spots because I want to keep this small. I would love for you to apply and be a part of this mastermind if you are ready to truly scale your business and learn how to sell differently. And on that note, this wraps up my burn book of bad sales advice mini series. I hope you enjoyed my hot takes on all of the bad sales advice that I have learned over the years. This just scratches the surface of some of the bad sales advice that I have learned. There is a link in the show notes to leave me some fan mail and let me know that you loved this mini series, and I will do some more episodes on my hot takes of bad sales advice. But until then, I'm cheering you on, and I'll have a fresh episode for you next week on the She Sells Differently podcast. All right, that's a wrap on today's episode of She Sells Differently. Friends, it would be a huge blessing to me if you would take 2 seconds to rate and subscribe to my podcast. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Until then, I'm cheering you on in your entrepreneurial journey. See you next time.